Hello, welcome. How are you? What's going on? How are you feeling? For those who don't know, I'm Sarah Evangeline. I am the founder of the Soul Talk Method, and I'm an inner child and spiritual coach with a master's in counseling. And I'm sure you can hear that wind. It is like officially winter here. I'm up in Canada. The wind is just howling, and I'm letting Mother Nature just be with me today. We are nature, and sometimes we forget that. And nature, if we allow it, will show us so many things about our divine nature. So let's get into it for today. I want you to fill in the blanks for me, okay? They told me I couldn't do it, but I did blank anyways. They told me I couldn't do it, but I did it anyways. What is something that someone else told you you couldn't do? It was impossible, or no, you couldn't do it that way. Trying to dumb you down, or trying to get you to fit into this mold, and there was just something inside of you that said, no, I have to go this way, or no, I'm going to persevere and I'm going to work the hardest I've ever worked before, and I'm going to do this thing. So I want you to just comment below, they told me I couldn't do it. You can even just say that. They told me I couldn't do blank, and I did blank anyways. What did you do? And I've lived in the people-pleasing mode. So, that's what brought me here, is the people-pleasing will burn you out. It will really, really burn you out if you're constantly giving without connecting to yourself. And at the same time, when someone tells me I can't do something, it's like, oh, I'm gonna prove you wrong. There's a little bit of that badass in me still, of just, if someone tells me no, Sarah, you can't do it that way, there's a little bit of a rebel inside me that's just do not tell me what to do. I'm going to go and do it anyways. And so part of my mission that I have on my board here is, they told me I couldn't do it and I did it anyway. So I wanted to bring this conversation on the live feed today. And I want you just to reflect within yourself. What is something that you are maybe even working on right now? Put it in the comments. I want to really encourage you. Let's hype you up. We came here for this. We have been given this mold of, this is what you have, this is what you have to stay in, this is as far as you get. And our soul, your soul knows, your soul knows that you were made to break that wide open. And so I'm going to start, and I'm going to say three things. I'm going to say three things that I've done that people told me that I couldn't do. They told me that I could not get through university because I wasn't smart enough based on some test results. Well, I have my master's degree and I wrote a book anyways. Whoa, okay, that's a big one. Another thing too is, when women especially, men have it too, but I think in their own way. So I'm going to speak for women. Men, you're going to resonate with this too. There's so much society pressure in the media that we have to look a certain way. We can't age, and when we're so disconnected from who we are, we don't know who we are, we look for external ways to fix. We look for band-aids to fix what's going on in the inside. And so I probably have spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on these cosmetic procedures because I was so insecure. I didn't know who I was. I had all this inner turmoil stuck inside my body, didn't know what was going on. That's now what I help people with inside the Soul Talk Method. So if you have inner turmoil and if you have stuck trauma in your body, the Soul Talk Method is for you. But at the time, I didn't know what was happening to me. I just knew I just didn't like myself. I did not like my reflection. And so cosmetic procedures are the answer, and hell no, they are not. So my second thing is, they told me that I would need cosmetic procedures to love myself. And I chose to love and accept myself in a completely different way. And today I'm living in an embodiment of acceptance and trust and love within myself that I had to find within me that no one else could tell me. No amount of makeup, procedures, or validation from outside would have gotten me to this point. It was an inner journey. And the third thing is, this one is going to maybe strike a chord with people or bring up some controversy, but this is just for you. This is really for you to be aware of your authenticity and claim it. So the third thing is, they told me that I would lose my job if I didn't comply with the Canadian government, with all the lockdown BS that happened. I don't know, I can't even keep track anymore, 2 or 3 years ago. Like I live in Canada, and it was insane here. And the lockdowns really were, I mean, we all dealt with it in our own way, but I was threatened, I was harassed, and by people close to me. And it was like, if you don't comply, and I think you know what I'm talking about, I'm not going to say it out loud. If you're not going to comply, you're going to lose your job, and you're not going to know what to do for money, and blah, 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 all the fears of, oh my gosh, if I don't comply. Well, I chose not to. I chose to trust myself. That little voice within me came back of, oh, you're telling me that I have to do this thing? Hell no. Hell no, I'm going to listen to myself. And so I did not, and that's what birthed the Soul Talk method. I chose to walk away from my job before they could fire me. I did not let those threats take a hold of who I am and what I want to do. I'm grateful for it, because it pushed me in the direction of, okay, I'm going to go all in with my business. So they told me that if I didn't comply, I would lose my job, I would lose all these things, and instead I went in the direction of my highest good and honored my values. And so that's another point I want to bring in here, is if you do not know your values, and if you do not know who you are, likely you are allowing someone else to dictate who you are, and that has to stop. And I get it, like, I want to just validate that it's actually very normal. There are so many adults walking around today with inner turmoil, emotional stuck trauma from childhood, from teenage, from even early adulthood, that they don't know how to deal with. And it comes out in anxiety, it comes out in fear, it comes out in stress, like even just stress alone. And the root is they don't know who they are, they're not connected to who they are. And so, yeah, let's like have some fun. What is something that someone else told you that you couldn't do, but you're doing it anyways? Like, claim it. What is something that you want to do that somebody else is telling you that you can't do? Go do it. Go do it. And I want to just tell you a little story about what I did even last week that just will paint the picture of where you can be. When there's also this thing, I have to bring this up before I tell the story. There's also this belief that I do not agree with, but a lot of coaches will promote it, and it is, you have to be fully healed before you can have XYZ. You have to be fully healed before you can have the life you want. You have to be fully healed before you can, allow yourself to have another romantic relationship or whatever it is. And that's so not true. That's so not true. I want you to know that there is a way where you can start connecting to yourself at the get-go, where actually connecting to yourself is what is going to help you to heal. And so you don't have to wait until all this healing is done. That's actually really going to hold you back, because then it puts this pressure on yourself of, oh, I've got to figure it all out before I can have XYZ. That's a lie. That's part of the programming. And so I want to just like eliminate that right here. Yes, Sandy, healing is a constant journey, and it's not like this weighted down of like, oh, I always have to heal and it always is going to be healing. Like, you can let even just that label go of I'm healing. It's just, I'm on this journey and I'm committed to myself, and I'm committed to show up to myself every day. I'm committed to step one step closer in my healing, whatever it is. And actually in the Soul Talk method, the very first step that I guide people to is back to themselves before we get into any of the heavy healing. Because I believe in that so much. I want people to know that you're still here. You're still here, and it's not like you're out there, like we've chased validation, we've chased love, we've chased the success and achievements outside of ourselves. And no matter what you've been told, no matter what kind of trauma or wounds that you have gone through, no matter what kind of setbacks, you are still within you. The answers are here. And so the very first step that I guide people to is back to themselves at the very beginning. Because guess what? Then the healing becomes a little bit lighter. It's not like, boom, I gotta heal so that I get myself. You already have yourself. You just might need that little reminder. So yeah, I wanted just to highlight that. And that goes back to one of the values that I live in, is that I have me no matter what comes in my way from outside sources. I have me. I'm connected to me. I know who I am. And so if you don't know who you are and you really want to understand who you are, the Soul Talk method might be for you. But I wanted to share a story with you of what I did for myself last week when I was feeling off, when things were just not going my way. Now, I love the work that I get to do. I absolutely love it. Like, I love coaching. I love talking to everybody or anyone every day of just who's open to this. Like, it excites me. I love writing the content that I put out every day. I love behind the scenes that you guys don't see here, where I'm working on the Soul Talk method behind the scenes. Like, I love every single aspect of it, that some days it doesn't even feel like work. It's like, I cannot wait to get up and do this because it's so amazing. And yet I'll catch myself because I'll go like a week and a half without taking a break. And it's like, even though I love it, I have to make sure I'm honoring my body first. And so of course, you know, I was probably overdoing it last week, but I was in momentum. I was just loving it. And it was Thursday last week where I woke up and I was a little bit achy. And that's usually a sign that, Sarah, you need to slow down. I wasn't really getting sick. It was more just so, okay, time's up. Need to like shut off the computer, go and honor myself. And I mean, I make it a point every single day before I even turn on my phone, turn on anything, is I take time to connect with myself so that I can show up and embody what I'm teaching. It is a daily commitment. And yet there's sections throughout life where we have to take a bigger moment for ourselves, okay? And so, you know, this is the difference between where I am now and where I was. And the old me would have just kept going, would have numbed those feelings, would have just said, no, Sarah, it doesn't matter, like, you have to keep going. And it really is the old paradigm of we have to suffer through life. Like, how many of us suffered through life where we thought, okay, I feel stress or I feel inner turmoil, but I'm going to bypass that and I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go full throttle. I'm going to be stressed and I'm going to do what everyone else is doing. And this is just normal life. And I'm here to tell you this is not normal. Okay. Living a stressed out life with emotional pain, with the inner turmoil, you do not have to live that way. You do not have to live that way. There is another way in the new paradigm that many people are choosing for themselves, which I am here to celebrate and I'm here to hold space. If you need guidance, come join the Soul Talk method. But this new paradigm is we don't have to suffer, and it looks completely different. And honestly, when I left my 9-to-5 to go into full-time business, this business that I'm running now, it literally felt like I was detoxing from an addiction. Like, I felt like utter shit. And it was literally coming off that horse of, I gotta go. You know what I mean? Like, can anyone identify with that? Of just the pressure to fit into this mold. Like, it's an addiction sometimes. Like, we all nod our heads and commute, and it's like, I look around and I remember thinking to myself, like, how have we thought that this is the smartest way to live, the healthiest way to live? It is not. And so if you are feeling like there's a voice within you saying there's a different way, I'm here to tell you there's a different way. Listen to that voice. It will not, that is your soul talking. And so yeah, like, even just shifting gears from this go, I was commuting like 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day. When I finally stopped and I went full time into, it wasn't just my business, it was also, I'm going to honor my body now. I'm going to make a routine that honors my body. And so making that shift, it was like I was withdrawing from a drug. That's the easiest way to say it. And so many people will say, well, Sarah, like, it's not an addiction, everyone does it. But I will say that almost 99.9% of people are addicted to something until they turn inward and connect with themselves, and then they go, whoa, okay, there's that mighty wind. Nature is echoing what I'm saying over here. And so, addiction can be the things that we always hear: alcohol, shopping, gossiping, but it's also, keeping our body on this stress mode of survival. And I'm here to tell you there's a different way to live. And so the old me would have just suffered, would have bypassed, would have numbed, and then, oh my gosh, major burnout. Like, I hit burnout probably 3 or 4 times before I was even 25. It is not the way. I was like, if I have to live this until retirement, how is this life? How are people calling this life? And so now where I am today, it's just a completely different way of living that you have the option to do too. It's available to you now to connect back to who you are, listen to who you are, and carve a new path for your life that people told you to stay here. Oh, this is the compound, this is the mold, this is what they said you had to do, right? I'm getting, for anyone who's joined, right? They said I had to do it. They said I couldn't do it, but I did blank anyways. Like, let's get back to that. They said I couldn't do blank, but I did it anyways. Like, what are you doing that you were told you couldn't do it? Like, keep going, keep going, keep going. So anyways, I'm going to get to my story now. I know I can ramble, but all of that was completely necessary. Because I get how hard it is to actually make the shift for yourself. It is incredibly hard, and yet it is worth it. And so last week I woke up and I was feeling the aches, and I was like, okay, well, I've made this promise to myself that I'm going to honor my body no matter what. I'm going to give my body what it needs, what it's craving, because that means tomorrow is going to be 10 times, 100 times better. And so thankfully I didn't have any clients that day. That just worked out. But I just, whatever I had planned for my business behind the scenes, I just was like, okay, it can wait for another time. And I had a hypnotherapy session, which was phenomenal. And by the way, hypnotherapy is nothing like what they tell you. It's nothing what they say in the movies. And it's just very interesting to me that, that's part of the programming of like hypnotherapy. Oh my gosh, you can't do hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy is dangerous. Like, no, it's actually really, really phenomenal. I'm probably going to get my hypnotherapy certification. That's another thing. But anyways, it was so, so rewarding because really it was me guiding myself back to me, just in a really safe space with someone who was guiding me. But it really brings anything that is in the subconscious that's fear-based or limiting out in the open to heal it and to tap into your future self. So it was an amazing moment where it took some time, fed my soul, right? Because if we're in leaders in this space, like, we are feeding other people all the time. So it's really important to, okay, honoring yourself, making sure that you're really getting fed as well. So that was number one. I did that. Truly, truly amazing experience for me. And then it's really important to do spontaneous things. It is so important to allow yourself to be spontaneous, because when we learn to connect with ourselves this way, when we learn to actually trust ourselves, trusting ourselves, self-trust is taking one step at a time. And so sometimes your intuition will go, okay, you had this plan for today, but now I want to take you way over here. Let's go. And self-trust is taking that one next best step. Self-trust is not sometimes, yes, I want you to plan for the future, but self-trust is not necessarily knowing the next 600 steps. It's knowing the next step. So you have to allow yourself to be spontaneous and do things that were not in the planned schedule. And so I took the day off. I was listening to my body. And so I felt the craving for a sauna. Saunas are so good to eliminate toxins in the body, to be really proactive from getting sick, to really nourish the body on a cellular level. So I was like, okay, so let's go do it. We're going to be spontaneous. Let's go. Brought my higher self with me, brought my inner child with me, like, let's go. And this is the part of like connecting to yourself where you get to change things in the quantum field. Like, you get to show up in your inner knowing and change things, and it gets to be this amazing unfolding. And so I packed my bag as if I know that I'm going to get into the sauna. Like, my body's craving it. It was like 3 p.m. So it was already well throughout the day, where this spa that I go to, it closes at like 7. And I'm like, no, I know that I'm going to get in. So I go, and I'm in my flow, and I'm in my ease, and I am just loving life. I'm loving that I took the day off to listen to my body. I'm taking just one step at a time. And I go to the spa, and I'm a regular there. I've been there since they opened. It's really a beautiful place to be in my city. And I go in, the regular guy meets me, and I say, is there anything free for a sauna? I need it today. Nope, everything is booked. So that's what they told me originally. And I'm just sitting there, I'm not rushing, I'm not stressing. I am in such connection to my being. And this is all available to you in your own way. And I look at him and I say, what can we do? Usually the sauna is like an hour long. I said, I would be happy even if you could fit me in for 20 minutes. And he was saying to me, you could come back tomorrow. And I was like, no, like, I need this now. Like, what can we do to make this possible now? And you see what this does when we live in our inner being in this way, is what it does is, I have the commitment to show up to my clients, but I also have the purpose of, I'm going to show up to me and every single doorway that I enter that day, whether it's the person that makes my coffee, I want to show up in this expansion of, it impacts them too. Like, when that person makes my coffee, I look at them. I look them directly in the eye, and I thank them with such gratitude for putting in the hard work to make my coffee. Thank you. Thank you for making my coffee. So as I'm talking to this guy behind the counter at the spa, I'm doing the same thing. It's like, when I say to him, how can we make it possible? It does a little thing in him too of, oh, anything's possible. Yeah, it seems impossible, but we can make this possible. So he's looking for me, and I thank him. I thank him for looking for me. And I'm feeling really good. I'm in this spa where it's relaxing. And then within a few minutes, someone calls. He goes, just one moment. And I go, okay. I'm like, this is going to be fun. Because I'm just like, I'm not putting a control of it has to be this way, but I have the expectation that it's going to work because I know, right? Knowing is different than believing. Knowing is, I have this knowing and I'm going to operate in it, but it's not this control and forcing energy that the old paradigm is in, of like suffering through life. It's, I'm going to love myself, whatever the outcome is. And I'm open to any kind of opportunity, because when we step into this new paradigm, it's stepping into endless possibilities that your mind can't even think of, but you're stepping in that knowing that my highest good is going to be taken care of. So the person that called on the phone was canceling their sauna appointment. Divine, changing the quantum field in real time, okay? And you guys can all do this. So I looked at him and I said, wow, anything is possible. It validated me of just trusted myself, and I hope that it planted the seed in him of anything is possible for you too. Whatever you want, it's possible for you too. Step in it, step in it, step in it, step in it. So guess what? I got the whole damn hour. And it felt so good. My body needed it, and I honored my body. And so this is the kind of expansion of soul connection that I invite people into in your own way. It's not about me. It's not about anyone else. It's about what your soul wants to guide you to. And sometimes I will be coaching someone and they will tell me what they're doing because of they're trusting themselves now. They release some emotional pain. They're trusting themselves now. And I'm like, whoa, you're inspiring me now. Like, let's go, guys. Like, we did not stay here to be confined to this tiny box that other people told us. So I want you to reflect on What is something that someone else told you you couldn't do, but you're doing it anyways? Or what is something that someone's told you that you can't do that you want to do? You just haven't done it yet. Like, take that next best step out into it now. Like, it is available to you simply because you desire it. And are you willing? Are you willing to take the step out of the old paradigm that suffers, that is forceful, that keeps you here? Are you willing to go over here and go, oh, I'm going to step into that unknown. I'm so freaking terrified because it's unknown. All I've known is this pain over here, but I'm going to do this for me, for my highest good, for my inner child, for the part of me that craves to be free. I'm going to do it. And it's available for you. You can love yourself through the process. And the last thing is, I'm just echoing what I said before, and that is, know your values. Know who you are, or someone else is going to dictate it for you, and it's going to keep you here. I did it for years. I did it for years, and time's up. Time's up. So lastly, this is actually the last thing. Lastly, if you are wanting guidance, and if this kind of support is what you're craving, I invite you inside the Soul Talk Method. The Soul Talk Method is a sacred healing portal. It's a step-by-step journey that I take you on so that you can come home to you can be safe within yourself, and you can show up in this expanded version of yourself. So if you want that, or if you're interested, send me a message with the word free. Tell me a little bit about yourself, what you want, where you are, where you want to be. Tell me about yourself. I love, love, love connecting with people. We'll get a free call. I'll get you a free call so I can tell you more about it one-on-one, and to make sure that this is an empowered decision for you. But I invite you inside the Soul Talk Method. I don't want you to wait on your life anymore. I'm living in a life that I didn't even know was possible 7 years ago, 8 years ago. And can you just imagine how different this world would be if people showed up knowing who they are, connected to their inner being in this way? Like, whoa, you need you. You need you. And so the Soul Talk Method, I take you on this amazing journey. There's the wind again, howling, and really like here, I feel like nature is here with me today. I love it. And yeah, so it takes you on this journey. We get you connected to who you are. You do not need to wait until you're fully healed to discover and start uncovering who you are. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is we free your inner child, any past wounds or limitations that you're living in. Step number 3 is I take you through a process of really healing emotional turmoil that's stuck in your body. You're going to release stuck trauma or just stuck energy that's maybe not even yours that you've been carrying and trying to fix. Step number 4 is anchoring in that self-trust, that self-love, nervous system healing. And step number 5 is really expanding you to open up beyond money, changing your mindset, views around money, expanding you beyond this box, and really helping you vision for your future and step into that. So it really is beautiful. There's a community of like-minded people going through it too, so you're not alone. You get access, if you want to one-to-one coaching with me, and it really is this transforming space where in a few months from now, you can be in this expanded version that is your birthright. Let's get you there. Let's get you there. All right. I hope you love this story. I hope you feel a little bit more empowered, or actually really empowered, to go do the thing that someone else told you not to. Stand in your values. Know who you are. It is time. Like, we need people to know who they are. Know who you are. Step into it. Today is a chance. Here we go. Today is a chance for you to take one step towards your highest value. Will you take it? Will you take it? I'll talk to you guys later.